Today we're going to drive up historic 285. It's a windy, twisty road that curves up into the mountains. So I'm really excited. I haven't driven it for years. Partly because I-70 is just so much quicker. But this is very, very scenic. I'm a little worried about snow. There is a report that snow is coming in even within a day or two. So I'm going to have to really keep my eye out for that kind of little problem. Anyway, we'll keep you posted. This is the little tiny city of Grant, and from here you can make a hard right and ride up to Manila Pass and Georgetown. This is all a big mining district, or was in the day. Hard to tell here, but this is a water diversion project that brings water from the western slope to the eastern slope. They bored a tunnel underneath and they divert the water. Water is a big thing in Colorado, especially on the plains. There isn't enough of it, and they've taken water from everywhere they can find. This is the road to Redcomb Peak and Webster Pass. Just a phenomenal four-wheel drive road. Apparently they've closed it for the year. It gets significant snow. It's a four-wheel drive road, and I don't know of any van or any rig that will take this road. Even a four-wheel drive truck with a camper on it wouldn't be able to go over this road because it's so narrow and there's a lot of tilting, so anything top heavy would have a very difficult time. But it is phenomenal country, and it's not too far from Denver, Colorado. It's only a couple of hours up the road, and then all of a sudden you have this incredible history. This is also the town site of Webster, and unfortunately Webster's gone, as are so many of the frontier towns that made the West, that the pioneers settled. They're gone. When I was young, you used to be able to drive up here and see all kinds of structures, and they're just gone. It's really sad. Okay, well, we'll keep on. I'm going to turn around here, though, because the road is closed for one, and second, I couldn't take it in this vehicle. Okay, thanks. Kenosha Pass down into South Park. What happened was when they built the Air Force Academy in Colorado Springs, they took all the water. They convinced the ranchers to sell their water rights. So the valley is dry, and it's just tragic what they did. This was some of the best hay in all of the United States, and it's dry. So that's just kind of the note of progress. As a result, the ranch land became almost worthless, and people started buying up the ranches and then selling them off. So there are a lot of places you can buy a lot of land that went for pretty cheap, still pretty cheap comparatively, because there are just no resources over here. This is the little town of Jefferson, and I mean little. There probably are more than 10 buildings in the entire town. Looks like the old, sorry for the noise, looks like the old depot is for sale. They have a little caboose over here where they sell ice cream. No doubt they want some incredible price for this. You have a pretty big traffic count, but the problem is Jefferson is just like nowhere. Who stops at Jefferson? You only stop here if you really need something. And that might change as tourism increases. Anyway, if you're looking for an investment, here it is. I'll try and pull up close to the sign and you can send this guy an email or something. Historic Jefferson, Denver South Park in Pacific Railroad Depot, junction of US Highway 285 and County Road 35, National Register of Historic Places. The circa 1880s depot with stick-style architecture detail is a well-preserved example of a wood frame combination depot serving both passengers and freight. It remained in active use until 1937, is what that sign says. We're coming into the old town of Como. Como was a stop along the railroad between Breckenridge and South Park, basically the other side of the hill. Como is very interesting. It was kind of lost and forgotten, and I would say it's still pretty much forgotten. There's really not much here except for the old town side of Como. There is the old roundhouse, and it's really fun to kind of take a look at the roundhouse. Unfortunately, it's mostly closed up. They only open it's once a year, as I remember it. You can see the roundhouse over there, the big brick stone, actually, it's not brick building. And this is the old town side of Como. These are newer buildings, but in a minute we'll see the old buildings. Built in 1881 by the Denver South Park and Pacific Railroad, this 6-bay stone roundhouse served as their division repair shops. Como was a division point in the narrow gauge railroad with tracks running to Denver via Kenosha Pass, to Leadville and Breckenridge via Boreas Pass, and to Gunnison via South Park and the Alpine Tunnel. The Alpine Tunnel used to be open when I was a kid, now it's closed. The Union Pacific Railroad gained control of the D and SP&P in 1881. In 1889, the DSP&P was reorganized and became the Denver, Leadville, and Gunnison Railroad. Over the next decade, 2 wooden additions totaling 13 bays were added to the roundhouse. The Union Pacific lost control of the DL and G Railroad in 1893, and in 1899 the DL and G was incorporated into the new Colorado and Southern Railway Company. Very fascinating history. If we were going up to Boreas Pass, I have a hunch it's closed right now anyway, but if we were going there, you could see the actual station at the pass site. Just spectacular. It says free brochures, but nothing in there. It says no trespassing, and of course I think you got to respect that. If we could get around to the other side, you could see a little bit better of the roundhouse. Unfortunately, you can't, so I'm not going to be able to show it to you. Now we're driving down the main street of Como, the town. It's a quintessential frontier town. Very interesting. And this is the old train depot. Unfortunately, it's in private hands too, so it's all private. You can't go in without permission, and they open this once a year as well. Some of the buildings are almost ready to fall down, as this one is. My understanding is that there's no plumbing in the street, so you got to use an outhouse, and of course outhouses, I'm not sure how legal they are here. Might be legal, might not be legal. This one's for sale too, if you have enough dough. A lot of history here. Just phenomenal history. It gives you a little idea of what life would look like, what these old mountain towns looked like, what these old frontier towns looked like. And of course, the railroad was big money in those days. We're coming back down again by the roundhouse. Okay, we continue on our journey. The next town down the road will be Fairplay. Also an old western town, but Fairplay for some reason has been able to survive a little better. They do better economically. It's a more viable town.